Hello, I'm Jerome Badou, creator of Mini Miners. Mini Miners is a game for 2 to 4 players, 10 years old or more, playing in about 60 minutes. In this video, I'm going to show you a quick overview of the gameplay to give you a first impression on how to play a game of Mini Miners. This is my Mini Miners one setup. You will be dealt between 4 and 6 dwarf cards, depending the number of players. In this example, we will play like for a 3 players game, so I have 5 dwarf cards. You have the market area with tool cards. We will come to that a bit later. The mine cards, where you will discover how much gold you will be able to collect during the game. You have the event cards that will slightly modify the rules for every single turn. So the game will take place over 3 turns, each turn being composed into 5 phases. During the first phases, you will take the mine cards you've been dealt. You will choose one dwarf. Each dwarf has unique abilities that are written on the cards. In this case, let's say I want to take Lucky, because I like this dwarf. And I give the rest of the cards to my left neighbor. I receive the card from my right neighbor, and I continue doing so. In this case, I want to take Gadget. When I select the cards, I select them face down. Just for this video, I place them face up to see what I have. I continue like that until I have all my 5 dwarfs selected. This one. I take Trixie, and the last card given by my right neighbor will automatically be added to the team I've selected. Now every player will find himself with 5 dwarfs. Among those dwarfs, he will choose to discard one. In this case, I don't want Breaker, so I discard Breaker. Now I have selected my team. So once revealed, each player will take the corresponding standee for each of the selected dwarf. I take Trixie, Lucky, and Hoarder. Now the first phase, the recruitment phase, is done. Comes the second phase, the market phase. During the market phase, the player that owns the dwarf with the lowest initiative value, you can see on the cards, there is a number for each the dwarfs. In my case, the lowest initiative number is the number 5. So we will call by ascending order. Let's say I'm the first one with number 5. We call number 5. So I'm the first one to take my turn. I will buy tools. I can choose either to buy a face-up tool, paying 2 gold nuggets, or to draw a face-down tool. That will cost you only 1 gold nugget. I will first choose to pay 2 gold to draw 2 face-down tools. I have Dynamite and a Sheriff Star. That's not exactly what I want, so I'll pay 2 extra gold to buy a shovel. I buy the shovel, I add it to my tool reserve, and I replace the market. I have 3 tools. I want probably a last tool for my 4th dwarf, so I will pay 1 to have a face-down tool. Now I can take all the tools I might have from previous turn. That's the first turn, so I have no other tool, and I can equip my dwarf with. Each dwarf can have only 1 tool equipped to him, except some that have special skills saying otherwise. In this case, I forgot to use his ability. It says at the beginning of my market phase, I can draw a face-down tool and equip automatically to him. I look, I have a magnifier, I place it secretly, and it also says he's allowed to have a second tool equipped. Therefore, I continue, I place everything, like this. And my market phase is done. Next player can do his. Once everyone has finished their market phase, we come to the placement phase. During the placement phase, we will call each dwarf by ascending order of initiative value. And once a player has one of these dwarfs being called, he will place him on the game board. First dwarf, in my case, will be the number 5. If the number 5 is called, I choose to place him maybe here. Note that every section of the mine have a special bonus token that will give special bonus or penalties during the next phase. Then we'll continue to call the dwarfs. Oh, the first one was the number 4. So I place the number 4. I choose to place him here. I will then place the next, number 10. I will place him here. And the last one, I choose to place this one here. His ability said, after placing him, I can choose 2 dwarfs, target 2 dwarfs, and switch the bonus token, those tokens, from the place they are standing on. So I will take this one, I choose those 2 dwarfs, and I switch the tokens. Now my phase is done. Next comes the collection phase. During the collection phase, each dwarf will be resolved in the order where they are placed in the mine, starting with the closest from the way out. In my case, the closest from the way out is Lucky, so it's his turn to be resolved first. For the resolution, there is first the mining step. For the mining step, we will look on what section it stands on. In this case, it stands on a yellow section. That means I draw a yellow card. I draw a card, I reveal it. It says I get 2 gold nuggets. However, it stands on a +1 bonus token. That means I have 2 + 1. I get 3 gold nuggets. I will place them on his card. After the mining phase is done, we will go for the escape step. The escape step is you look if there is no obstacle between your dwarf and the way out. In my case, there is no obstacle. We will come to that later. So you can leave the mine safely, go get a beer in the inn, and all the gold he might have on the card are collected and goes to my treasury. Next, we solve the next dwarf. This time, it's Hoarder. Hoarder is on a green section, therefore we will draw a green card. But his ability, he has the wagon. That means I can draw 1 extra card. So I will draw 2 green cards. Bad luck, I have 2 collapse cards. That means he is buried alive. What happens is the dwarf is turned face down. He loses any tool that he might have equipped that are discarded. We remove the dwarf from the board and we place 1 collapse token for each collapse card we drew. In that case, 2 collapse tokens. That's done for him. Next dwarf in the line is Gadget. So Gadget now will try to do his mining step. He draw 1 card. He has 2. He has no choice. And he gets 4 gold nuggets. However, I have nothing for him now. So he will go to the escape step. For the escape step, normally, he cannot leave the mine because on the way out, there is 2 collapse blocking the way. So he's supposed to die. When a dwarf is stuck in the mine, he has a choice. Just to die, simply, just like previous dwarf, or he can sacrifice himself to remove a collapse. If he do so, it's the same way, he's eliminated, and we remove a collapse. However, I'm lucky. I have on him a shovel. The effect of the shovel says that I can remove 2 collapse tokens. So I reveal the shovel, I remove 2 collapse tokens, and now the path is free, and I can leave the mine and go to the inn. I get the 4 golds that I was supposed to place on the card earlier, and I place them in my treasury. The tool cards are not discarded. You lose the tool cards only when your dwarf is eliminated. And now comes the last dwarf. Here, in the mine, is in the black section. I draw a black card. It says 5 gold nuggets, and I can take 5 gold nuggets. I will take a diamond, because a diamond is worth 7 gold nuggets, so I get a diamond and I pay back 2 gold nuggets to the gold stock. So that's going on him. He'll leave the mine because there's no obstacle and place in the inn. He cash in all the nuggets and we are done. Once every dwarf in the mine have been resolved, we go to the resting phase. However, there is a special place in the mine we didn't talk about earlier. It's the alcoves. The alcoves have a lantern printed on it, and usually a printed number, a printed value, so either a gold nugget with the value or a diamond that is worth 7. Those alcoves are placed, you cannot place your dwarf on during the placement phase, except if the dwarf you are placing it on has a lantern as a tool. Like this. I have no lantern, so I placed none of my dwarf on those section. What is special about those sections is the gold value is not on a card, it's directly on the board. That means you will not draw cards for that dwarf, and you have no risk to have any collapse, and usually the amount is slightly above the average of the level where it stands. The last special place is the last section of the board with a diamond. It has no card to be drawn, you just get a diamond, but it's not an alcove, there is not the lantern. Therefore, any dwarf can be placed here. We are done with the collection phase, and now it's the resting phase. The resting phase is just a phase where we will reboot the game. So to reboot the game, we will take all the dwarfs, even those who have been discarded, shuffle back and deal them again to each player like at the beginning of the game. Every tools I still have are placed in my tool reserve, and I will be able to use them again next turn during the market phase. We also remove any collapse token that might stay on the board. In this case there is none. And we reveal a new event card. I didn't talk about the event card yet. It's a card that will modify slightly the rules for the turn. In this case, the alcoves and the diamonds will be worth 2 more for the next turn. And last thing, we shuffle back all the mine cards to recreate new stacks. And we will be then ready for a new turn. After the last turn, the player that has the most gold nuggets in his treasury wins the game. In the previous video, I showed you the basic mechanics of the game. But basic mechanics are not what makes a game fun. So now I'm going to show you all the things we added in the game to spice things up. First, the dwarfs. I talked to you about the special abilities of the dwarf. They all have unique abilities. This one, for instance, like we used in the example, can have a free extra tool. Or this one, I forgot to use it during the demonstration, but when you leave the mine, you will get 2 extra gold nuggets. This one gets gold for each dwarf that left the mine at the end of the turn. And there are 18 dwarfs like this, each with unique abilities and each with their own gameplay. And if you like interaction, you want more, you would like to be nasty, there are other dwarfs with offensive abilities. you can find those dwarfs, they have this icon, these target icons. They will target a dwarf to do usually a nasty thing, but you can sometimes use it to do nice things. You can use it for yourself sometimes if you want. For instance, Shady. Shady, when you play it, you can target a dwarf to steal 2 gold nuggets to another player. Or Runner. Runner, you can target a dwarf to take the place of another dwarf on the board. And you can combine all those effects. So for instance, imagine we have a dwarf right here, another here maybe, and I have Shady. I can use to place Shady, and I target that dwarf to steal 2 gold nuggets to his controller. So now I target him, his controller has to give me 2 gold nuggets. Thank you. And now I can even combine these effects. I have Runner a bit later to place. Well, usually you use it to steal the place of someone else, but in that case, maybe I want to target my own dwarf. I steal the place of my own dwarf. Oops. And I replace him again. So I replace him. I place him here. And like I said, when I place him, I can steal gold nuggets. So now I target this dwarf, and I take 2 gold nuggets from that player. Thank you again. And I got, whoa, I placed them here, but that's wrong. Should go on the card. So now I got 4 gold nuggets. I stole 4 gold nuggets instead of 2. And there are many combination or synergies you can find within all those dwarfs. And that is one of the greatest things in this game. But we talked about interaction. Interaction, you can use the interaction with the abilities, but what about trade? Well, you can not trade tools. When you have tools, it's for you and you cannot trade it, but you can trade your gold. And why would I trade my gold as it's something needed for victory? Well, let's imagine something else. Let's imagine one player, me, has this dwarf, Kaboom. Kaboom has an ability, a dynamite, the same as a tool. A dynamite can place collapse on the board. So let's imagine it's my turn. I just took my mining phase, and now I'm about to leave the mine. And I can say, well, to the player that owns this dwarf, say, well, you know what? If you pay me 2 gold nuggets, I will not use my dynamite. But if you don't, I blow it, and I place a collapse token, and your dwarf will be stuck in the mine. So you pay me, or I do it. And maybe he will pay you. He will pay you 2 gold tokens, and you can say, okay, fine, I don't use my ability. Deal is done. Or maybe you can be even more nasty and say, thank you, but I lied. I will place my dynamite. What do you think? In fact, you know what? I have another dynamite, and I place another collapse token. And now you're completely stuck here. And you will be hated by everyone on the board, around board. But that's maybe not a problem to you. All you want is victory. So it's up to you. You can play nice, you can play nasty, you can play safe, or you can take very big risks. And all the dwarf offer possibilities for this. So the possibilities are quite infinite. And you have the tools. I will not explain in details all they do, but each dwarf will have tools, and the magnifier allows you to draw better cards when you're mining. The lantern can allow you to place your dwarf in the alcove. There are safe spots. So if you like to play safe, the lantern is for you. The helmet will protect you from any collapse. If you draw a collapse, it will save you the life of your dwarf. The sheriff star can protect your dwarf from other dwarf's abilities. The wagon The Mind Wagon will allow you to draw not better cards, but to draw more cards, but taking more risk that way. We saw the shovel. We saw the shovel earlier to remove collapse when you try to leave the mine. So all those tools will add even much more gameplay and mechanics to the game and will fit the gameplay you want to do. And now, I talked about what makes the game fun, but a game cannot be good if it has good replayability. And you know, all those tokens that make each section of the mine unique will change for every single game. Every single game will have a new board, completely new, with tokens in a new place, making the strategies and how to play the game different every time. And I might also have talked to you about the event cards. The event cards will change the rules of the turn, and as there is 3 turns, you will reveal during a game 3 event cards, but there are 8 of them in the base game. So in every other game you will not have the same event cards coming out. And how they change the game? Yeah, it can be sometimes small changes, giving more gold for like this one. If you place your dwarf in an alcove, it would get more gold. Or this one, neighborhood issues. When you draft at the beginning of the turn, when you draft your dwarfs, you choose your team, you will choose a team for your neighbor. And your other neighbor will choose a team for you, changing completely the gameplay for this turn. So every single game will be a different game. And I would have many other things to say. There are special nugget cards and other things, but I want you to discover also as well by yourself what is in that game. And I really hope that you will have as much fun as I had to create that game.